Hey everyone, hope you're having a blessed day. I wanted to share my story of getting into the carpet cleaning industry and business with you guys. My story is going to be a lot different than other people's stories, but probably also very similar than other people's stories. So here I go. It started in 2020, pandemic, COVID. I got a call from my boss, which at that time I was doing sales and delivery for a blade sharpening company in Los Angeles, California. And I got a call from my boss after work one day, and he asked me how things went. This was late March 2020, and he told me pretty much that my pay is going to drop about 40% in my time and commission because of all the shutdowns that were happening, especially in our industry at that time. So that night I was praying, I was reading my Bible, and God just put it on my heart to start reaching out to people from my past, people in my contact list. So I started texting people, just asking, just saying hi, and seeing if there's any extra work out there. And there was one particular guy who was an ex-teammate on a baseball team of mine, and he said his dad owned a floor cleaning equipment company, and he had used carpet cleaning machines for sale. So I started at that night. I looked up on YouTube how to start a carpet cleaning business. And for the next weeks, it seemed like days, weeks, I couldn't get enough of watching carpet cleaning business startup content. And at that time, I didn't have much money, and I still don't have much money right now because I'm still kind of progressing. But at that time, I had about $2,000 to invest, and I met with my friend's dad, and he was graciously spending time with me about an hour, 2 hours, explaining to me from the ground up what the carpet cleaning industry was like and how to start cleaning carpet. He had an old, kind of busted down portable for sale for I think $1,000. It was a Mighty dual vac with heat and only I think 120 psi. But I didn't really know, and he was telling me like it'll do a good enough job to get you started. So I got that. I got chemicals. I got all the things that I need: corner guards, rake, this and that. And next thing you know, it's $2,000 of my investment. I started there, did my house first. I texted and called family members and friends, and just asking them if I can, clean their carpet at, no charge. At first, I just wanted some experience. I just wanted to get some before and after pictures and kind of work through what the work was going to entail. And so I started doing that, and I remember about 2 or 3 months in, I'm feeling a little bit more better about the job that I can do. I started reaching out to other people to get business and started actually charging people. And there was this one particular job that I'll remember, that I do remember, and it was a lady who I knew from a friend. Or actually, I didn't know her, but I knew a friend, and she referred me to her. And they were moving out of their house, and it was a vacant home in Sunland, California. And I put my pre-spray down, and I agitated with my Auric Orbiter with a brush head attachment. And I went to plug in my machine, and I set up my wand, and I, did everything. I was about to start, and right when I went to turn on the machine, the pump wasn't working. And I just put, a high pH chemical on the carpet at this house. and I was freaking out. I called some guys that I was contacting in the industry. I called the guy that I bought the portable from and just asking, like, am I doing something wrong or is something broken? And I was freaking out, and I ended up kind of like trying to clean up the chemical by just low moisture with like a bonnet pad and like dipping it in acid rinse with water and just trying to get up as much as the chemical as I could. And I had to take the portable to the shop and get a new pump, which cost like $300 to install, like $250 or $300. And we ended up putting in a new 3-stage vacuum as well. So that costed me some money right there. And I remember getting home that night and kind of breaking down to my wife. I started crying, and I was just like, I don't know if this is for me. I was still working a full-time job. I was doing it on the side. You know, I'm not making that much money doing the side gig, and I lost money on my regular job. And I'm just like, I don't know if this is gonna work out for me. I don't know if it's right, but I still had some jobs lined up on the schedule, so I just kept doing it. And I remember at that time I was working out of my family minivan, so whenever I had a job, I would have to take out the car seats and the seats, or at least put the seats down, put in my portable, put in my chemicals, put in everything, drive to a job, do the job, put everything back, and then take everything out, put it in my garage, and then re-put back seats, re-put back car seats and all that stuff. And my friend at the time, well, he's still a good friend of mine, but my friend at that time, he asked me if I wanted to have his Ford Expedition. And that was such a blessing because we had no money to spend on another vehicle at that time. So my friend gave me his Ford Expedition, which worked out really well at that time for me to have that extra vehicle. And that's just one of the ways that God has provided for me through this business startup. But then I was on OfferUp, and I saw there was a truck mount for sale in Murrieta, California. So I drove down, I think it was 4 hours or so, maybe 3, I'm not sure. But I drove down with my dad in his truck, and we made a deal with the guy. It was a ProChem GT. And we made a deal with the guy for like $4,000. It had 1,600 hours on it. And I picked it up, but I didn't know anything about truck mounts. I didn't know anything about fixing truck mounts or nothing. The guy tried to start it, and he put a little fuel in and it turned over, but I didn't check any pressure. I didn't know, I couldn't even tell you where or what the blower was. And you know, the guy on the phone, the guy who sold me the portables, telling me, check the heat, check the pressure, check the blower, the vacuum, all these things. I'm like, I don't know anything about what you're saying. So I basically $4,000, bought it, loaded it up in the truck, took it to this guy's shop, and I ended up trading him. He had an older van with a ProChem SE, an older model, but everything was working. It had hose reels and it had a machine, and it was like a 1999 Ford van, and really ugly, beat up, ugly, but it ran, and the machine ran, and I think he was selling it for like $6,000. So I told him, like, hey, would you give me credit if I traded you this truck mount that I have no idea what to do with at this point? And he gave me, I think it was like $400 or $4,500 worth of credit. So I paid like $1,500 out of pocket, got that carpet cleaning van, and you know, when I left, the guy told me how to turn it on and how to hook it up, but I still knew absolutely nothing about truck mounts. So I remember being at this one job where I'm cleaning, I hook everything up, I turn on the truck mount, I connect my garden hose to the outside spigot, and I turn it on, and I noticed it was leaking out of the garden hose, but so I kind of turned the pressure low a little bit, and when I'm starting to clean, the water box was emptying, and it wasn't filling up fast enough, and my pressure just like was clicking on and off. at the wand, and I'm like freaking out because, you know, I put pre-spray down, I agitated, and then now I'm in this old lady's house, and she's like kind of like watching what I'm doing in a sense. And you know, I'm having to keep running back and forth from outside to inside, outside to inside. Like, I'm panicked, I'm sweating, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I call the guy, and he's like, you know, you gotta prime this and that, you gotta do all these things, plug the vacuum, this and that. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So anyways, I don't know exactly how I got through that job. Oh, I know how I got through that job. It was an extended Ford van that I had. So I had my portable in that van as a backup. So I actually disconnected all the things with the truck mount, and I brought my portable out, and I set up my portable inside the house. That job, which was only like 2 bedrooms and a hallway, took me, and I think there was a little like runner area rug, it took me like 4 hours. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know if this is right for me still, you know? But I'm continuing to grind. I'm continuing to grow in my knowledge of the carpet cleaning industry. I'm continuing to consume information on YouTube. I'm continuing to ask questions. I'm continuing to create relationships and do ride-alongs and try to, you know, learn more and more and more, being a part of groups on Facebook and stuff. And there came a point, so at this point, it was around September, October, and my friends from church were moving up to Idaho, and I went to go visit them when they moved up, and I told my wife, like, hey, I think, you know, if we're ever gonna make a move this big, it should be now while the kids are young. So I ended up, long story short, I ended up moving up to Boise, Idaho. And I told myself, because of the fluctuation in the weather, where we were moving up at the end of fall, going into winter, I said, in the spring of 2021, I'm gonna start doing the carpet cleaning thing on the side. And I still had my van with the truck mount, but I still didn't really know how to use it. So April comes 2021, and I start doing carpet cleaning. And my results still aren't good. I didn't have that one person in my life to really show me what the truck mount did, how to use it, what the pieces of the truck mount were. All I knew is, here's the key, turn it on, connect it to water, hook up your hoses, and clean the carpet, which at that point, I kind of knew how to do that. But you know, I'm dealing with an old machine that's breaking down and having problems, and I don't know how to like fix it or address issues. So anyways, there was a guy selling a carpet cleaning machine with a van, truck mount, in Idaho, and I went to go look at it, and this van was a little bit different. It had a fresh water tank, and the setup that he had on it with like the hose reel and stuff was a live hose reel, and it was just a lot more simple, even though the truck mount was pointing out from the back of the van. So I ended up asking him a bunch of questions. He turned it on for me. He showed me how to do all the things, adjust the pressure, this and that. You know, the fresh water tank, you didn't have to connect a garden hose, and it was like, wow, this guy taught me more about a truck mount in an hour or two than I knew previously. He was showing me like, oh, it's a small blower, but it has a blower. This is the engine, this is the belt, this is the pump, this is all these things. He was just basically showing me everything. I was like, wow, this is great. Anyways, I didn't end up buying that truck mount because he was selling it with the business, and I didn't have, I think he wanted like 30 or 40 or 50 grand or something like that. And I was like, I don't have that type of money, whatever. And I honestly just wasn't ready to make a move like that. But 3 or 4 months later, I'm still, you know, actually it might have been 2 months, 2 or 3 months later. It wasn't too long, but I do a lot of auctions here in Idaho, and I did it back in California with my dad growing up, like auto auctions and just auctions in general. And I saw that same carpet cleaning van, I saw it was at the auction here in Idaho. And pretty much I went to go check it out. I turned on the machine and everything worked still, and it was in good shape. So I ended up buying that for, I think it was $4,000 at the auction. I bought it for $4,000, and it came with the wand, it came with everything that was inside of it, all the tools and everything. And it was a good running van. So I ended up using that for about a year. And that machine and that truck mount was when I started really getting the ball rolling as far as like being knowledgeable about a truck mount, being knowledgeable about carpet cleaning, producing a good service, and like having a reliable unit. That was the turning point for me in my business, in my confidence for the most part. So I ended up about a year later, there was a janitorial auction in Idaho that the owner passed away, and they had a carpet cleaning van with a truck mount, and it was a Max 470, HydroMaster Max 470, a lot more powerful than the unit that I was using. And I was like, wow, I really want this. So I ended up buying that for, I think it was $4,500 or $5,000. And, you know, I put about $600 to $700 into it, just getting it with our local carpet cleaning mechanic, getting it fine-tuned, getting it running, you know, fairly tip-top. And I ended up selling the other van, and I ended up getting the, I ended up selling the other van, and I ended up using this van for about 9 months to a year, and I think it was probably a year, and I ended up putting, what's it called, I ended up putting decals on it with my name and my phone number. It was a really clean van. It was older, but it was clean. That thing was when I really started gaining confidence, and I really started doing well, because at that time I ended up making the decision to go full-time with my carpet cleaning business and quitting my regular job, which was scary. But I was doing door-to-door sales when I moved up to Idaho, and I really hated door-to-door sales, and that was kind of my ticket out. But at that time, I'm feeling good about the service that I can do, and I'm feeling confident in my machine and my van. So I ended up doing that, quitting my job, going full-time my carpet cleaning business. I have about 2 or 3 pretty consistent property management companies that I'm working for at that time. And I just put it in God's hands. I'm like, God, provide, and I'm going to do the best job I can and be faithful and try to balance all the things that you've called me to do as a man, as far as providing for my family, being a family man, loving my wife, training up my children in the way of the Lord, and going to church and serving and being plugged in. And by God's grace, like, I was able to navigate those waters and to really balance my life. And so at that time, taking that leap of faith to go full-time in my business, I start having machine issues. My machine just starts bogging down. It's like it needs something. I think it was an electrical issue on the machine, but my carpet cleaning mechanic at that time, he wasn't really able to find out what was wrong with it, which was fine, you know, because I had like, that machine got me through. It was an older machine, and it got me through about a year, which is all I really wanted it to do, because my goal was to continue to progress and get a better machine, a better van, a better machine, a better van, a better machine, a better van, until I got a brand new machine and a brand new van. That is still my goal. I'm not there yet, but that's still my goal. So at that time, I took the machine out. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. I told the lady, full disclosure, this is the problems it has. I think I sold it for $2,000, but her husband ended up fixing the problem, and they're actually using it to this day, which is great. But I ended up going to California and buying the same machine, a Max 470, but it only had 1,600 original hours on it, and it was pretty good condition, really good condition. I'm still using it to this day. and I bought it off of him for $4,500. So I went with my dad. We drove to California with my van that I bought a 2014 GMC van a couple weeks before that, so I upgraded the van. And I went to California, picked up the machine, brought it back, had my mechanic do some work to it, installed it, everything's good to go. And I'm closer to my goal of having a better van and a better machine. And now, so going into the financials, so I did $93,000 worth of work last year, but I had about $40,000 worth of expenses. So I only made, let's say, $55,000 of actual like profit in the 2023 year. But I've definitely been continuing to invest in my machines, invest in my equipment, and become better at my job, be more confident, do a better job cleaning. But my primary customer, my targeted client is property management. So I just like keeping a good relationship with the property management companies that I work with, and doing a good job and providing a great service, and being very detail oriented on my invoicing, taking before and after pictures, and explaining to them any problems that I come into. But I've had nothing but positive reviews from the clients that I have. So now the biggest turning point going forward to get me over the hump, because I had to invest a lot of money and I'm still not making that much money in my business. But to get me over the hump the last few weeks, I've been trying to learn the carpet stretching and repair side of the carpet industry. And that alone has really helped me to now offer more service and a better service to the clients that I already have, and being able to create more income by being at that same location. So now it's like they'll either tell me this unit is going to need a restretch or transition repair, or when I go in and I do my pre-inspection, I can take pictures of the problem areas and then send it to them and get the approval to do extra work. So it's 2024, it's April 1st, and from 2020 to 2024, 4 years in the carpet cleaning industry, I feel like I am a pro. I feel like I am someone who is providing a good service. I feel like I am someone who is clean, trustworthy, respectful. So the next step of my business is going to be duplicating what I do into someone else that I can trust. And I know a lot of people on here, a lot of other carpet cleaning people, like you have the spectrum of the owner-operator guy for 20, 30 years cleaning carpet, who makes really good money, but he does all the work, and now his body's, broken down. Or the guy who, even people that I know, the young entrepreneur-minded guys who are very motivated to create a big profitable business with systems in place that, basically they just turn it on and it runs itself, like as the ultimate goal, making millions of dollars in profit, this and that. I'm probably more somewhere in the middle of like, I want a profitable business with efficient systems and trustworthy employees, but still keeping intact the main central focus of quality, of delivering quality service, and me still being in the business but not doing all the work. That's what I would prefer. Maybe like 2 or 3 vans eventually, but I have no aspirations of becoming like this huge carpet cleaning industry or carpet cleaning business with multi-van operation, like 10 to 20 to 30 van fleet, or like a Stanley Steamer type of thing where you can like franchise out your business. Like I have no intentions of that, and I have no desire of that, but I do want to create an atmosphere in my business that is efficient, does a great job, and has a high profitability, and is very clean cut and just really, really efficient. I think that's the best word. So my business is called Faithful Carpet Cleaning, and the name really could represent two different things. For one, faithful, from a human perspective, trustworthy, reliable, respectful, someone who's faithful. But for me, and what my business and what the word faithful represents, is God's faithfulness to provide for my family. And even when I am sinning, or even when I am not faithful, even when I am wrong, even when I'm doing things that aren't perfect, God remains faithful to his promises, and God remains faithful to his word to continue to provide for my family, and continue to bring the customers that I need, and continue to bring the relationships in which he can use to fulfill his purposes in the Great Commission of making disciples for Christ. So I'm just so thankful, guys. I wanted to explain my story. Thank you for listening. I hope that you could take something from it. A lot more to be said there, but that's the basic outline of what's happened over the last 4 years. Anyways, have a blessed day, and I'm going to be pulling up to my job soon. Thanks.